Hello and good evening. Welcome everyone and thank you for joining today's webinar on competency-based teaching. As educators, our shared goal is to help learners excel not just in classroom but in life. Traditional approaches often gauge progress by time spent in class. However, competency-based teaching shifts our focus to what learners actually know and can do. This approach puts students at the center, ensuring mastery of each skill or concept before moving forward. This shift aligns strongly with the National Education Policy guidelines, which emphasize holistic student centered learning. The NEP encourages educators to design curriculum and assessments that are flexible, inclusive, and focused on developing key competencies needed for lifelong success. But what exactly are competencies? Competencies are a blend of essential knowledge, specific skills, attitudes, and values that enable learners to apply what they have learned in real life situations. They are not inherently fixed traits. Rather, competencies are developed and nurtured through meaningful learning experiences, practice, and reflection. While every learner starts with unique strengths, competences can be fostered and enhanced in everyone. Let me give you an example to understand competency based learning. To teach math and entrepreneurship skills, we can have a pizza shop challenge. Students are asked to run a mock pizza shop where they design their own pizzas using fractions for toppings and portions, price ingredients and calculate profit or loss, market their brand with logo and slogan, serve customers who are classmates and teachers while keeping track of orders and feedback. Each student progresses at their own pace, mastering skill like problem solving, teamwork, financial literacy, and communication. Assessment focuses on what they can do, not just what they know. This activity brings learning to life and shows how competences grow through real world application. Today, we'll explore the principles and practical strategies for implementing competency based teaching guided by NEP recommendations. Whether you are just beginning or looking to refine your practice, you will gain tools and inspiration for creating learning environments where every student can flourish, building competencies for school, work, and beyond. To help us achieve this target, we have with us Ms. Shradha Anand. Ms. Shradha is an author, teacher's trainer, editor, and entrepreneur. Her aim is to make a difference to the world of education through writing course content and training and teaching it. She has written books of English, general knowledge, value education, life skills, social studies, environmental studies, and storybooks for various publishers. In 2018, Ms. Shraddha launched Peony Books to offer academic solutions to educators with her team of content writers, designers, artists, and editors. The best part is that she is also developing content for us. She is most definitely competent enough to give us insights into competency based learning. So let us join Ms. Shraddha and learn together to shape future ready learners one competency at a time. Ms. Shraddha.
Thank you, Sharda ma'am. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Shraddha, and the ma'am who was introducing me is Sharda. So, we have that connection. Okay, there's Sharda and Shraddha here for you. Okay, we're going to do NEP in practice, and thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on behalf of Viva Education. We all welcome you over here. And what we are going to do, we're going to do it slowly. So I definitely want all of you to have some writing pad, pen, pencil in front of you. I've done a lot of underlining, a lot of, made a lot of words bold, which are important for us. And as we progress from slide to slide, we will write the headers, the main words. And then we will attempt to make our competency based questions. So I'll begin with this. I was listening to two girls. I think they both were in ninth or 10th grade. So I was listening, or maybe 11th and 12th grade, listening to these two girls. One girl said, I know everything about computers, I can, do my exams so well. And I'm absolutely thorough on everything on computers. So I heard her and I felt proud of her. Both the girls were known to me. And then the second girl said, I know computers, maybe not everything, but if you give me a broken computer, I can fix it. I can again make it work. And that's the difference between knowledge, knowing everything of computers in this case, and the other one, applying that knowledge in real life, the second person. Okay. So we're going to go through this. I definitely want you to, write some words over here because we're going to come back to that. Let's go ahead and keep sharing thumbs up, or you can also write to me in the chat box if you want me to repeat anything. Okay, so we start with this as to what is competency based teaching. So we call it CBT, or what is competency based learning, which is called CBL, or what is competency based education, which is CBE. All of them mean the same. Competency based teaching is for us, competency based learning is for the children, and competency based education encompasses the teaching and the learning. Very simple. We are hearing a lot of words: inquiry based learning, project based learning, flipped classrooms. We just, you know, coming across so many things since NEP came, and NEP says, and NEP tells us, that don't make education the way it has always been up till now. Bring about that change. So, teachers and audience, whatever change you've been wanting to bring about, now is the time. You might have been coming up with questions in your mind, in your head. I wish I could ask this, but can I ask this? Now you're allowed to ask everything related to whatever you are teaching. So, transforming competency based teaching, who has or what has CBT, why has it transformed and how has it transformed? The NEP, National Education Policy 2020, came up with this approach of competency based education. This is very student centric. Now, there's a big difference between teacher centric and student centric. Teacher centric is typically the teacher stands in the classroom and she teaches, and the children, nod their head that they're following, and then the teacher is like the whole soul boss. And student centric education is where the students are doing a lot of things. Teacher is the facilitator and the mentor. So the teacher will just guide the children. So here, when we are doing competency based education, it suits us to understand what is a student centric model. The children will be doing a lot of application based questions. This will take them away from the traditional focus of, depending on their memory and exams. Up till now, we've been doing a lot of that. The children must get 90%, 95%. They must learn. In fact, my own daughter, when she was growing and she was in 11th, and she said, I don't follow this, I'll just mug it up and I'll reproduce if this comes. You're getting it? Children think like that, that if I don't follow, I'll just use memory and I will just memorize it and reproduce it. Okay, so coming on to the second slide. Now, competency based education is going to develop skills, knowledge, and abilities. So, I was talking about those two girls, girl A and girl B. Girl A had knowledge, and girl B had used her knowledge to create abilities and skills. So, all of us, we've got knowledge, we're gaining knowledge, and as adults or children, everybody is getting knowledge. But to get the opportunity to use that knowledge, turn it into our skill, turn it into an ability, is competency based education. And it's not only per se what we have in the textbooks. Believe you me, you put any topic on the internet, you put a topic like maybe transportation for a younger class or parts of the plant, and you just put competency based questions in front of it, you'll get a list of competency based questions. It is that simple. So you should know what you want to ask the internet, how you want to ask it to help you, and I would want you to do that. So, okay. So skills, knowledge, and abilities are the three words you're going to write down for CBE, competency-based education. What will this give us? This will develop the knowledge. And what are these abilities that we're getting? Write down 4 C's, 21st century skills. The 4 C's are critical thinking, creativity, communication, collaboration. I will repeat the 4 C's: critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Now, what is critical thinking? Earlier, when we were doing the method CCE, when we were doing CCE, there were a lot of HOTS questions coming up, high order thinking skills. All of those come under critical thinking. So you have problem solving, you have analysis, you have compare contrast, you have inferring, all of that in critical thinking, where you need to use your cognition. Okay. Second is problem solving also comes there. So once you've critically thought something, a child has critically thought something, has created something, the child or the children have to collaborate, get together, and communicate with each other to show their competencies. Is it clear till here? Can I have some, thumbs up like you're following it? Teachers? Okay. Are you all following it? Can Viva check?
Yeah, ma'am, we are getting a lot of thumbs ups.
Okay, great. So, I will repeat that we're doing skills, knowledge, and abilities. Knowledge is the first bit, which has to go further into developing our skills and our abilities. Let's take this ahead. So now we're looking at NEP. How does NEP develop competency-based education? It nurtures a child's holistic development. So up till now, we were only doing cognitive development. A lot of cognitive development means a lot of use of memory, using using your brain. So now holistic development talks about cognitive development. It talks about emotional development. It talks about spiritual development. It talks about a lot of other things. There are about 4 5 developments that a child is completely and wholly feeling that I have gained. Okay, so in 2020, what did CBSE do to go towards competency-based education? They changed the question pattern into assessment of objective type questions, case-based, source-based, integrated questions, and 60% at least short, long answer. So a lot of MCQ also. So objective type questions will have a lot of MCQ, 20% case-based, source-based, 60% short, long answer. Okay, this is what CBSE has done. Primarily, this is for a slightly higher grade, but we are teaching our children from grade 1 and 2 to understand what is being asked. I'll come back to this further into another slide. So we are seeing now what all we have done now with competency based. So one is shift from rote learning. Rote learning is memorizing, mugging. We're shifting out from that. Okay. It's easier to mug something, mug an answer. We're very sure of this question which is coming in the test or the exam, but we don't know how to reproduce the answer, how to do the steps, or how to answer it correctly. So NEP says shift out to rote learning, shift out of rote learning, and now show practically your knowledge. Show in real life how do you know this. So like Shradha ma'am was explaining with an example of a pizza, that you're using a pizza and you're using fractions to demonstrate the toppings on it. Then you're selling it. You're making some profit, some loss. All of this will happen in real life. What have we been doing up till now with fractions? We make a box, we cut it out, we tell them to color 1/4, color 2/3. Now we're applying it in real life. Second, first is remove rote learning. Second is develop critical thinking. This is what I told you for the 4 C's. Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, problem solving, 21st century skills, 4 C's. These are all called soft skills. They don't only apply to the children, they apply to offices also. They apply everywhere. Okay. Let's go ahead. Another bit of this competency-based education is after COVID, a lot of technology can be used to make it personalized. So education up till now was mostly summative, the final exam and the half yearly, and it was standardized. It was just according to the age of the child. The child must know all of this. Now it is personalized. That means children can have different gains in whatever they're learning, and we're laying a lot of emphasis on the formative. So they will keep growing, they will keep learning. Their progression will be checked. That means they will work on their competencies. As their competencies get better, they will move on. Clear till here? I'll again tell you to look at this. First is shift out of rote learning. Second is 21st century skills, which is 4 C's. Then the assessments have changed a lot. There is personalized education, which is different from standardized summative examinations. Next is technology integration. A lot of technology is being used, especially after COVID. Schools provide these resources. Then you have master-based progression. After you have gained your initial competencies, you go further. You have digital content assessment. There is software provided to schools or by NCERT to progress tracking. And education today is just not mathematics, science, social studies, English, Sanskrit, Hindi. Education today also gives a lot of emphasis to arts, sports, and a lot of other subjects. These are all integrated. Okay, so competency-based assessment applies to arts, sports, and other subjects as well. It's a holistic approach to education. Let's see ahead. Holistic skill development. I was telling you that there is an all-round development in the student. Again, 4 C's come up: critical thinking, creativity, communication, collaboration. They develop well-rounded individuals. This is personalized for the children. This is not standardized. So there is more emphasis on formative assessment instead of summative assessment. Another thing, this has real life applications, real world applications. So whatever we learn till the time, what's a book? A book is a sum of what's happening around us. Whatever is happening around us is put into the book. So we have to take it out of the book and apply it everywhere that we see. And so the application of knowledge into real life situations is important in competency-based education. We will understand this when I come to the questions. This is learning. It is lifelong learning because the learners are not only in schools. For CBL, competency-based learning, they are also in college, they're also in offices. Okay, competency-based education runs across. Let's see examples. This is important. There are 4 examples. One is project-based, projects-based, okay, real life projects. Second is skill demonstrations, okay. Another example is simulation exercises. I will show you how they all look. So project, skill demonstration, and simulation exercises. Let's see all the 3. I hope you've written down all the 3 words. Project-based, all the 3 phrases, skill demonstration and simulation exercises. Shradha ma'am, can you see this? Have they all written down? Are they giving a thumbs up?
Yes, ma'am. There are lots of thumbs up.
Great. I'll go ahead. So now project-based, okay? So project-based is to solve real-life problems. Now I'll show you pictures and I will show you some examples you'll understand. Real-life problems. For example, you want to demonstrate or you want to show that you understand the physics principles of lever, not level, sorry, lever, force, motion, angles, direction, distance, all of this. You've understood this. So in a real life problem, I will show you what we've done. See this. So the children will make this. We'll give them ice cream sticks and rubber band. We'll give them bottle caps, cotton, easily available at home. And they will make, this is the catapult. So when they will press one of the ice cream sticks, the cotton ball is going to fly up in the air. So this is an example of lever. According to their force, they will be able to give motion. According to how they've placed it, they will get direction and angle. Distance, again, according to force, they will be solving a real world problem of, I need to throw this till that distance. How do I do it? So catapult will be able to show them and they'll be able to demonstrate that when I need to throw something to a certain distance, what tool can I use? Second is skill demonstration, which is to show competencies. So for example, a language arts student can make a PPT, okay, to show understanding of text. For skill demonstration, if I want to show that I've understood the chapter, I can make a PPT, I can make a drawing, I can write out a summary, I can make a mini book. There's so many things you can do to show that I've followed what I'm studying. After skill demonstration and project-based assessments, we've got 2 more. We've got simulation exercises. That means you need to enact it. You need to act it out practically. Okay. And second is again performance-based. Okay. That means it's something like a skill demonstration. Let's see, I've got 2 images for this. This is under controlled environment, with an adult watching what is being done. See this. One is first aid. First aid is for simulation. They will have to show how they were giving first aid to their classmates. And the fourth one, which is performance assessment, is a culinary test. They've cooked something. These children have cooked something to show whether they are able to perform. Okay, so these are 4 that I have gathered, that I have given out to you, and I want you to write down their names. Project-based learning. You can make any projects. I will encourage you to use STEM, STEM. STEM gives you lots of activities. You put the name of your topic and you put STEM before it. And you will get a number of activities that can be used. In fact, this one, the catapult, is also a STEM activity. Second is skill demonstration. How will you ask your children to demonstrate their skill? Third is simulation. They have to do it practically in a safe environment, a controlled setting. And fourth is a performance. Okay, so very connected they all are, but they're all real life applications. They're all in the real world. Okay, let's go ahead. Now I'm on to competency-based questions, and now it gets interesting. And you will, I want you to, you've got your writing pads. I want you to be writing, I want you to be writing also your own competency-based question. Okay, teachers, let's begin. I've got this toolbox rotating with me everywhere. Okay, so let's see this. Now, this is for primary grades first. Okay, so you can imagine this for grades 1 to 4. You can imagine this. So we are doing first problem solving. I told you problem solving comes under critical thinking. 21st century skill, critical thinking. So this is under problem solving, and the scenario, the story is your friends lost a toy. What ways will you show him, methods will you show him to help him to find it? So how will you solve your friend's problem? What all ways will you use logically so that your friend finds it? Now, see these questions when you will come across, and we'll go through them across the subjects, across primary grades, you will find that they're very different from what we were doing up till now. We used to be doing up till now, define pollination and what is the difference between living thing and non-living things. Now it will become, for pollination, it will become like there is a flower and no insect or pest sits on it. How the question will change. Up till now we were asking children to just define pollination. Now pay attention to me. Now the question will be, there is a flower and no, I'll not use the word pollinator, no insect or no pest sits on it. After some time the flower dies. Why does this happen? So now the children need to connect the insect or the small pest to the pollination episode, that they are the ones who will pollinate the flower, and the flower will not die and it will turn into a fruit. Okay, not given in the chapter, but the teacher has to teach in this manner. So you've got problem solving, you've got second, we're doing the second one, understanding cause and effect. Second one, cause and effect. You accidentally water a plant with salt water. Okay, what do you think will happen to the plant? Now the children will over here have to give scientific reason as to how the salt, more salt, less salt in the water, or maybe they'll have to try it out on weeds. What will happen? What will be the consequences of this for cause and effect? The third is SEL. SEL is also a very big part of school education today. It talks about using your emotions to be stronger, to become stronger. So imagine you and your friends want to play with the same ball. How will you get it first in a fair way? How do you decide who gets it first? In a fair way. So fairness, negotiation among the children, and cooperation. That first, let's, take out slips, take out our numbers, or with playing cards, let's find out, who gets the first chance. And like this, everybody will get a chance, but everybody will get a chance with the same ball. But now nobody will fight that I want to bat first or I want to ball first. Okay. So this is for SEL. Next, I've got creativity and expression. Please understand this is primary grades. And once you've understood this, you need to apply this to your chapters. Okay. So in a fourth, we've got, you found a mysterious object in the playground. So you draw a picture and you tell its story. This is a language question in which you found a mysterious object, you draw it and you tell a story. So this is descriptive language, imagination, and narrative skills. Last one is for environmental awareness. These are just taken random. That you plant a seed. What do you think you need to grow this seed into a plant? Why and how will you give these things? So this is going to be a lot about the life processes about the plant. We are seeing more competency-based questions. I've got some more for primary grades. Let's look at these. This is for English. Very simple, okay, but you'll get a hang of this. For reading comprehension and application of the story. So we've read a story on a fish, and for application, why was the little fish unhappy? What could have happened differently that the fish would not be unhappy? Problem solving. According to the passage, how does exercise help your heart? There is some unseen passage, or there is a passage on heart and heart disease and lungs. This is for reading comprehension. Now we come into creativity, writing, Instead of writing, write a paragraph on your father, on your mother, on the school. This is how it changes. Imagine you're a bee. You're out on a sunny day. What do you see? Or write a story about not a friend, about a helpful friend. How did the friend help you? This is all creativity. I repeat, you've got critical thinking, creativity, you've got collaboration and communication. That means children are getting together to answer. Like, for example, in English, up till now, if we had to do letter writing, how are we progressing? The teacher would show a sample of letter writing and the children would mimic that sample, or even without a sample, if she gave a format, the children will write out a letter. Now, for letter writing, they collaborate, they get together, and they communicate. They make a pre-draft of a letter based on some questions. They make a pre-draft. They edit it a couple of times. Then they make a draft. Our letter is ready. They show it to the teacher, and then the teacher tells them what is missing or what can be corrected or improved further. And now they make a post draft. Okay, so they communicate, they collaborate, they pre-draft, they draft, their post-draft. So their writing skills, their creativity, they're doing it together. Let's see now problem solving, some more in critical thinking. This is again for English. Your friend forgot their lunch. What will you share with them? This is for SEL, socio-emotional intelligence. Okay, social skills and problem solving. What are the two ways you can show a friend that you're happy with them and for them? You're happy for them. So, you could give a thumbs up, or you could share your tiffin, or you could make a small band to show that you're happy. But all of this you're writing out the two ways. My two ways to show my friend that I'm happy for them is: one, I will show a thumbs up and clap for them. Two, I will make a small card or a friendship band for them to show, express my happiness for their achievement. Okay, so this is all we're writing out. The children are thinking what they can do. Please note that in competency based assessment, they will have to think a lot, and they will have to think real things, and very out of the chapters, and very out of what we are doing up till now. It will have to be very real and application based. Language skills, let's see now in English what can have what further we can do. Find the words that describe how the cat jumped. This one is a common one. We've been doing this, describing words of how the cat jumped. Or give the plural of fox from the passage you have read. Let's go here again. Now I'm taking it to a senior. Now we're doing general now, but we're moving to senior grades. Am I getting some thumbs up? Are you following? We can have QA. I would want you to make competency-based questions for me. The last 15 minutes, we will do a lot of that. That's why please definitely write down the keywords that you have understood up till now in the chat box. I want to see that you can show me the keywords. Okay, let's see the keywords. Simulation, very good. Excellent, Krupali. I want more keywords, very, very rapid. Project-based, yes. Creativity, yes. Mary, yes. Soft skills, and what are the soft skills? Can you write down the 21st century? Critical thinking, experimental, collaboration, hands-on application is all practical. Yes, I think this is perfect. The 4 C's. Okay, very good. Engaging. I think you know it, and we're just reiterating all this here. You already know this, and I've told you the tricks. You put your topic on the internet, you put over there competency-based questions for your topic, you'll get a nice long list of topics. Yes, teamwork with collaboration and communication. Let's see some more questions, and then we're going to attempt making some questions of our own for whatever topic that we are doing right now. Let's see this. Thank you. We're going ahead. We're going ahead. Yes, teachers, we're going ahead. Okay. For the audience. Yes, you know this. Now I can see that you all know it. You knew it before. We recalled it, but yes, you know it. Here are some examples of competency-based questions categorized by the skill. These are the skills, the headers that you're giving me. Okay. And we are developing their skills, abilities, and knowledge. Not only their knowledge, we're using development of their knowledge to create skills and abilities in them. Okay. So, first one, problem scenario. Let's see. This is for children. Please try and understand. Okay, for mathematics, you're building a tower with blocks and it keeps falling. What will you do to make it more stable? I took this from STEM. I'm fond of STEM and I find it very, application based. So this is for maths, that you're building a tower of blocks and it keeps falling. So what will you do on the structure to make it more stable? Or another scenario for problem solving, you have ingredients to make a cake, but you're missing one. What can you substitute it with? This is for culinary. Okay. Now, this was problem solving, and children will try because they are collaborating and communicating. There's no one child, no single child that the teacher is, pointing out to or wanting as the answer. For the answer over here, the children are doing it together. So there is a lot of learning from your peers. Everything is tested when they're doing it together. So, okay, I can see answers. I'll come back to this. Yes, increasing the area of the base is correct, Manisha. We'll come back to questions back for this. So, critical thinking. Now, from problem solving, move on to critical thinking. You see a poster about a product that promises to make you healthy. What questions would you ask to determine if it's true? I would like to see answers for this. There's a poster, we see them very regularly about products. Yes, Sandhya will be giving the PPT. So we have a poster that we see about a product. It promises that will give us health. You see so many of these protein bars and a lot of seeds, and you see, I saw Ratanma, I saw this mixture of seeds and a lot of dry fruits. So they promise to make you healthy. What questions would you ask to determine if it's really true? Will it make you healthy? How will you know? So first and foremost, you're going to look at the ingredients used in it. Yes. So today we will read the positive feedback that that product has received. We will look at the ingredients. We will look at the nutrition value of the ingredients. We will also check that it should not have palm oil. Today, there's so much of talk on palm oil. So our critical thinking will make us quickly check that there's no palm oil. We will check how much of sodium it contains, how much of carbohydrates, what's the energy content, what's the review, or the fat content it has, all of this. But it promises to make you instantly healthy. This is instant health. So how is it giving you instant health? What is its nutritional value? So you look at the poster and you will definitely check the product everywhere for the reviews. We go by reviews of people. This is for critical thinking. Let's go ahead. Okay, let's look at creativity. If you have a superpower, what would it be? This is a very question for a child. What power would you want? How will you use it? So children love these kind of questions, and this is for values. I might like a watch. I might want a cloak. I might, want a magical hat. And how will you use it? So in using it, it has to be helping others, being kind to others, benefiting others, sharing with others. Another question, how would you describe, let's say, a tree without using words? Let me see you answer this. How will you describe a tree without using words? Let's see this. Without using certain words like trunk and canopy and green leaves, how will you describe a tree?
There are answers saying oxygen, shady, show images, thing with roots,
There I, but I'm not getting it here.
photosynthesis, like in the
Okay.
chat box, blind soil,
Okay, yes, nature's beauty.
just beauty.
Yes, yes, I've opened it now. I've got it. But probably, like, I'm a little dramatic when it comes to. So I would probably, go into dumb charades, and I would, put out my hand for put out my hand for my children, and then I will shake my hand. Yes, somebody's written role play also. Action, yes. So art and tools. You're coming up with so much. So you're getting this idea, you're getting this knowledge, you're getting this, that we are developing their skills. The classrooms are becoming very, very enjoyable with these kind of questions. And you have total freedom to create your own questions based on your chapter. And this is all chapter specific questions. Like this could be describing a tree, it could be types of plants. Okay. Superpower, it could be a chapter from value education. Design a game for your friends, because there is sports integration, there is art integration, there is integration of other subjects. Just children, asking them to design a new game is something that they will do rather than continue to play Ludo and make their own game. And I see a lot of Google images. There are lovely new games. You click the word template, you click the word for anything that you're searching for, and you get all kinds of games. Okay, real life connection. Let's see this. You see a bird building a nest. How do you think it decides where to build it and what materials to use? So, okay, so what will the bird do? Where will the bird build its nest? If we leave that out also, what materials will it use? So there'll be wool. What else? High above the ground, yes. Twigs, yes. Very soft twigs. Twigs on a tree, yes. Twigs. Wool. Cotton, yes. Cotton. Sharvi, yes. Straw. Feathers. Feathers is a nice one. Okay, anything else? Soft feathers. Wool. Twigs. Straw. And a safe place would be on a tree, or in a nook or a corner where mankind will not reach it. This is an EVS question. How is maths used in everyday situations? Sharda ma'am had given us one for pizza example, for cooking and shopping. So she had explained a pizza for all of this, for shopping and cooking. How is maths used every day? Can somebody give me another example? How is maths used every day? For mathematics? Okay, I'm getting answers.
Counting
Time.
chapatis, cooking,
Yes,
time,
time,
money.
decimals in shopping. Yes, money. How much of water had, quantity. Yes, shopping, counting money, counting fruits. So great. So teachers, we also understand this, that at no point of time when I'm training, I keep coming across, ma'am, where's the time? So believe me, when you start looking at your chapter, whatever subject that you're teaching, and you start looking at how I'm going to play around with this chapter to make real life questions, which are going to develop the critical thinking and creativity, the children will enjoy it. And that is where they're going to learn. So your questions, what we're doing right now, is all from textbooks. How do some, what are some ways of people using technology? Computers. So you've got them in the hospital for robotic arm. You've got, where else you have technology? You have it at the railway station. You have it at the bank. You have it on your phone. You have emails. You have at airport. You have at all kiosks. See, so to learn about technology, know everything about it, but then applying it is what is important. And a page is given definitely in the book when the children are learning about computers. But I would encourage you to Have the children actually see it in real life. See it at the hospital, see it in school, see it in the computer lab, see it with the receptionist, with the principal, see it at the bank. When they see how it's being used, they see all those rubrics and Excel sheets and graphs. That's when they see, okay, this is how it's being used. Okay. So, okay, this was connection to real life, and now I will be moving on to a slightly higher level. So the questions would be for I think sixth, seventh, eighth graders. I'll have some more of these Abhi, for general ones. How would you explain to a younger child? So we come across this a lot. When children are communicating with children of their age, their level, now you give the same thing. How are you going to explain? You're a class 6 student. How are you going to explain this to a child in class 3? It's for communication. I told you, that's the fourth C. Can you tell me a story when you were brave? What are the different ways to say hello? So you've got a lot of language here, language play. So today there is not only multilingualism, there is a lot of, culture, culture orientation. So children are getting exposed to books where they have stories and material from different languages as well. I'm talking about language books. Okay. Let's see SEL. How can you show kindness to someone who's feeling sad? Very important for children to develop their values. Children must learn their values, because we have a little bit of dwindling on the values. So they must understand, they must empathize, they must sympathize, they must be kind, sharing, generous, helpful. So how are you going to show kindness? This is for SEL. To someone who's sad, what will you do if you saw someone being bullied? How can you work together with others to achieve a goal? So values and life skills are also a very big part of NEP. And so obviously they'll be in competency-based questions and competency-based education. You find them in every subject. You have cross-curriculum, you have something of English going into maths, something of maths going into science, but you also have life skills and values in every book, because classroom happiness in classrooms is now very important in NEP and NCF. Let's see ahead. I think this is my real question. Okay, so you will decide. This was when my daughter was 11. Today she's 23, but this one is my favorite, and I use this anecdote a lot. Okay, so you will decide that, okay, Shradha ma'am doesn't have competency, she's old school, and her daughter has competency. So okay, I put my phone, and this is the question. I put my phone for charge in an Uber cab. I got off the cab at a residential society with my very young daughter, and she was standing at the entrance of the tower. The tower guard was also waiting there for me to come home. Suddenly I remembered I had forgotten my phone in the cab. I rushed to the gate, but the cabbie had already left. When I returned, my daughter was responding with her hand movement that the cabbie is coming back. How can you tell me that she has competency and I really don't? Because I went running and she had solved my problem standing there. So, can I see some answers? What might have happened? Through her phone. She didn't have a phone. She was just 10, 11 years of age. She tracked. No, how can she track? She called on that number. She can't call on that number. She doesn't have a phone. She might have called. No, she didn't. But she was waving her hand at me, and I was getting so. Tower guard. Yes, Krishna. No, Neha says tower guard. So what about the tower guard? How did she use the tower guard? What did she do? Check the logbook entry. No. Presence of mind. No. She used his phone. She used his phone, right. But then how Did she get the cabbie back? She called my number with the tower guard's phone. Thank you so much, Sophia. And yes, she called my number from the cabbies to the cabbie. So yes, and the cabbie he found the phone kept behind because it started ringing, and then the competency worked further. She said, if you'll come back, get the phone back for my mother, she will definitely give you something. And when the cabbie came back, what was very touching was I did remember asking I'm talking about something about 12, 13 years ago. I did ask him, what can I give you? And it was cold winter. You know what he told me? Ma'am, please distribute blankets to the people, on the roadside. And that was so beautiful. Okay. So, yes, my phone was not silent, Diljit. My phone is never on silent. It was not mute. Even if it'll be, if it's not mute, it's at least vibrating. Okay. So, yes. So this was something, and a lot of episodes after this made me realize that, okay, I do not have competency, so much of competency. I just move like old age school, the oldish teachers or the ones who are just continuously teaching and doing things the same way. They don't want to really experiment, try something new. So this example is over here to tell you that whatever we are doing in our life, whatever we're doing about learning in our life, must apply to our real life. Okay? And real life, because knowledge, unless and until it's useful in real life, it'll just stay here. It has to come out through our skills and abilities, and fast. Children today are very fast. So once they've got a knowledge of something, they will have very quick answers. And never stop them. Never ever say, I'll come back to you later. You finish your chapter, you finish your teaching, but answer them. Always, always answer them. Okay. Now we're looking at questions for higher grades. Okay. This is, you can say this for 6th, 7th, 8th. Okay. Let's look at this. Competency-based teaching in English. LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, writing. I've got this under communication. Look at how the question is going to be. Listen to the audio clip or listen to the teacher and summarize the main points in your own words. Okay, that's going to be competency. So how are we going to apply this in real life? Somebody's talking a lot and you hear all that, and your father is busy. Somebody's talking a lot, telling you to tell your father, and your father is busy. So you will have to just summarize in 2-3 lines to your father as to what his friend was saying. Second is speaking. Present your argument on the given topic with evidence from the chapter of the text. So present your argument. You'll have a pro and a con. You'll be kind of debating in your text, writing it in a debating format, for and against, and you'll have to give evidence as to why you're speaking so. Third one is reading. LSRW, reading. See, for all the four come in order. First you listen, then you speak, then you read, then you write. Children never write before they finish listening and speaking. And then, of course, reading. Okay. So that's why I say keep the books aside, get them to listen to a lot, get them to speak a lot. Speaking in English makes them confident, makes them smart. Get them to read a lot and then write what they want to write. So over here, there's a formal email requesting information about a specific purchase. Regular, the way we write email, the way we write a letter. Again in English, now I'm on, first was communication I did, now I'm on critical thinking, which is using your cognition. Okay, so again, this is higher classes of English. I finished already primary grades. Look at this, interpreting. Analyze the symbolism in the poem and explain its significance to the overall meaning of the poem. So the child must understand figurative speech, figures of speech, must understand, the imagery of the poem, and then join that up with the meaning of the poem. Okay. Second is evaluating. Talk about the character. The character in the poem or the chapter, assess the character and say whether he or she is reliable or unreliable. He or she is honest or dishonest. He or she is a robber or not a robber. Whatever, credibility of the character. Third one in critical thinking is inferring. Draw conclusions from the novel. Infer what you have understood from the novel or the story or the chapter that you have read. Last is problem solving. How would you adapt your communication style when interacting with someone from a different culture and language background? And I have a small anecdote for this. I was there with a student of mine, all grown up, 40 years of age. And so my student and I were in the car. We were somewhere in Rajasthan, driving. And then she spoke to someone on the phone and she said, cassette de dena. So I said, beta, remember when we used to be in school, I told you it's a cassette. It's a cassette. It's not a cassette. So she said, ma'am, and this is how you will understand this problem solving. She said, ma'am, if I say cassette to the person I was speaking to, he won't understand because in his language, it's called cassette. Okay. So how will you adapt your communication style to interact with someone from a different language background? So it's okay to use English in such a way that it reaches across to a person from a different culture, from a different background. Okay. So as language teachers, we do emphasize that keep your English very neutral, but teachers have MTI, which is called mother tongue interference. I have a lot of teachers over here in audience from different parts of India, and you would find that mother tongue does play a little bit of a role when you're talking, which is okay. NEP and NCF allows you multilingualism. It is saying use English to bridge the gap, but you're absolutely free to teach in such a way that the children understand. Okay. So this was one more thing that I wanted to tell you. I'll come back to chat. I will come back in a little while. Now I've come to real life application and integration. We're doing English. Applying knowledge. Okay. In application and integration, use the grammar. We already do this. Use the grammar to correct the errors. We already do this. Next is integrating any skills. Create a presentation on the text. Use verbal and non-verbal communication. So how do you present your text for what you have understood verbally and non-verbally? Last, in real life scenario, you're a custom representative, customer service person, service representative, and you handle a complaint of a real person. How will you handle it? In your language, how will you handle it? That's a real life scenario. All the questions that you're seeing up till now, you will find that they have real life application. Okay. I'm seeing some more of English. Please see this. Source based and case based are big now in exams. Scenario based, you will find them, you will make them in your tests. You are editor of a school newspaper, you find an article with lots of errors. What will you do? So you'll give the children a small article with errors and they will have to correct it. Okay, in the test. Second is read the speech and analyze how the user is using figurative speech. So that is figures of speech, maybe idioms, maybe something like proverbs or things like that. Similes, metaphors, you'll have to find that. Case studies, analyze the communication breakdown in the case study. Communication breakdown between two people, how are you going to help them? Okay. So these three headings, scenario based, source based, case study, are imperative. They are being used in your competency-based testing with simulation, with project-based, with skill demonstration in your exams, formative exams. Formative exam is not going to be like the way your summative 1 and summative 2 is. Formative is going to test these kind of skills. I'm into mathematics now. I want you to look at this. And Shradha ma'am gave you a very, very lovely example of pizza. I like pizza. So here I've got number system. My topic is number system. Here in a grocery store, there's a sale, lots of things on discount. How are they going to calculate the total discount and the taxes? So the question is, a store is selling apples at rupees 100 a kg. The store also has a sale with 20% off on this. So the customer buys 2.5 kgs and also buys a watermelon. And the sales tax is 5%. So the children will have to use percentage, decimal with the taxes to calculate the total cost. Got it? It's real life. Okay. Let's see ahead. I'm trying to leave some time for our QA. Geometry. This is a construction worker. He has to paint the walls. So he sees the room. The room is 5 meters long. The mathematics teachers would understand it. 4 meters wide, 3 meters high. So he needs to calculate how much of paint he needs for the walls, excluding the door and the windows, which take up 2 square meters. And the tiles also cost rupees 50 per square meter. So what's the total cost of tiling? What's the total cost of painting? Or the amount of tiling of the floor and the painting on the walls. This question will be on surface area. Okay. Practical problem is estimating the paint required. Requires calculation of area and cost of tiling. So I just got my outside painted, and the painter asked me, ma'am, how big is the area in square feet? I said, I don't know. He said, ma'am, how high are the walls? I said, I don't know. How wide is the outside common area? I said, I don't know. So, okay, can you share with me a video of the place? So he asked me all the correct things. He asked me the height. He asked me the width. Okay. He asked me all the size to calculate how much of paint he would require. And he got the exact amount of paint. It was over by the time he finished. So they are using real life. What are we doing? We are keeping ourselves constrained in the book. Right? So if the children have to be doing a question like this, you'll have to give them a wall to calculate it and first measure it in square feet. You'll have to give them paint to paint it. And that is what is going to tell them how to calculate the square area and calculate the cost of paint and tiling. And that's going to be proper mathematics. This is in geometry. Let's see social studies. Social studies is a bit difficult. I would have some teachers of SST classes 6th, 7th, 8th, even 9th, 10th. Looking at the information I've told you, please, I will again run this PPT through. I want you to look at the headers, the ones in bold, analyzing, drawing conclusion. This is all critical thinking. So how does industrial revolution, how did it impact the different classes in Britain? Or another one, cause and consequences of French Revolution. Or you can turn this to Battle of Panipat or whatever is there in your books. Examine the impact of globalization on the economies of developing nations. What are the advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy sources? How can we promote renewable energy sources? What is the difference between democracy and aristocracy or authoritarian government? Okay, so these are SST questions. I do find them pretty much in books. I have whatever I have seen in social studies books, I do find these. Second is applying knowledge now to new situations. Application of knowledge, very important. Okay, you're planning a city. Okay, how will you address the challenges of making houses which are affordable and giving transportation? Okay. You're a journalist. You're reporting an event. How will you ensure that your reporting is unbiased? If you're a leader of an independent nation which is new, what policies will you implement? How does the study of history help us? This is all for applying of knowledge. Collaboration and communication, the third and the fourth C. How does communication help to resolve conflicts between nations? How can social media be used to promote positive social change? I remember media, gender, these were all chapters in um, uh, political studies, political life studies, civics in classes 6, 7th, 8th. Develop a presentation to argue for against a policy. Create a public service announcement to raise awareness. In a group project, how would you ensure that everyone's ideas are heard and valued? Now, please, I again go back to this. The kind of questions we've been waking up till now are traditional way of asking questions. They're very traditional. They're out of context, and they're outdated. They don't apply into real life. They just check the child's standardized on a standardized check a test. They just check the child's knowledge. They don't test the knowledge of the entire class on how they will think. Okay. Another very short anecdote. You all know of the Apple phone. Okay. So when the Apple phone, why is it still number one? Because why is it still the most expensive and counted as number one with so many phones, Samsung, and you've got OnePlus, and you've got so many in the market? Why? Because what do they keep doing? They are continuously creating new things. They're continuously collaborating. They're continuously communicating how to make this better. They are continuously sitting and deciding and working on it. Okay. And they do this so much repeatedly, uh, competency based, in a competency based manner, that they're able to keep their phone as number one. Okay. Critical thinking and evaluation. Let's see this. What are the potential biases in this document? How can biases influence? This is for SST. Higher grades. How can we differentiate between facts and opinions? This can be done in a lower grade also. What are the ethical implications of any historical event? How do different perspectives shape our understanding of history? I might think differently. Another person will have a different perspective, or third person. So now the teacher is giving a chance to every child to present their perspective, maybe on Indus Valley civilization, maybe on the French Revolution, whatever is their perspective, how it developed history. Okay. I will see the chat in just another 5 minutes. Okay. You can keep posting over there. I have help from Viva to see your questions. Okay. Real world application in SST, create a budget for taking a school trip, going on a school trip to India Gate. Analyze any political cartoon. This one is really sweet. You get so many political cartoons, especially cartoons from Amul. Okay. Compare and contrast capitalism, socialism, economies, different economies. Discuss the role of the government in regulating economy. Okay. As I told you before, that this is from 6th to 10th grade. I'm on the last bit, science. So this is slightly of a lower grade, maybe 6th, 7th, 8th. In science, please note down the headings, analyze and interpret data. So a child will look at a plant, and then plant will be shifting to the direction of light of the sun. Look at the picture that I have over here. So the question will be, explain your use of knowledge. How does a plant grow towards light? What are the variables? How will you design and check this experiment? So we have this in our books as to grow a plant in dark and grow a plant in a closed cupboard with a hole, that kind of a thing. So competency, what will it be over here? Plant response to stimuli and whatever experiment you design for the plant. Next is Please write down problem solving and designing solutions. This one is really sweet, really nice, and it can be really used, that a community is experiencing an increase in mosquito population, and so there are more cases of mosquito-borne diseases. How will you design a plan to reduce this mosquito population? What will you do about finding out about mosquito life cycle, breeding habits, environment applications? What material will you use? Where will you do your plan? Where will you conduct your procedure? What challenges will you face? Competency, scientifically, you will solve a real problem considering your environment and develop a practical solution to reduce the mosquito population. Water cycle. You can take this for a slightly lower grade. Student learns about water cycle. Then the question is, explain how the water cycle is relevant to not the usual, evaporation, condensation, precipitation. How is it relevant to fog and dew? How does this cycle impact other weather patterns besides the rainfall? Explain the scientific context that you will use on the water cycle to explain this weather phenomena. Now, teachers, again, I am telling you this. Whatever thoughts used to come to your mind, I wish I could ask my children this. I wish, they could tell me, related to your chapters, related to your teaching for your subjects. But you always felt you're short on time. You need to connect your teaching now in this manner. You need to make your teaching in this wholesome manner and very real life application it has. It uses the 21st century skills. It's not traditional. It can be personalized. It is based on the mastery of the children, on the competencies. You're giving them knowledge, and the knowledge is their weapon to develop their skills and competencies. Applying scientific principles, this is for lenses. How would you adjust the lenses to change magnification? So applying knowledge of lenses. Okay, so the children will first tell you where all they find lenses. It's not only in the glasses. Can I see where all you have lenses in chat besides the spectacles? Where all? Camera, yes. Television, our eyes.
There was one microscope,
Microscope.
mobile, magnifying
Is
glass.
there in the rear view mirror of the car also?
Sonal ma'am just answered car mirrors.
Yes. So you've all done a wonderful job. I come back to reiterating what we have been learning, and then we do a QA. These are book chapters, book pages. All books contained today. This is I took some pages from office. This is competency-based questions here and there in this. Problem solving, you can see, you can see some assertion, reasoning. Okay. You can see case study. You can see drawing of a chart, SDGs. Then you've got science in my words, something like pictures, using on them. This is the closing, and we've got good 15 minutes now. Focus on application, real world application. Hai na? We've done this. Whatever knowledge and skills they've developed, they apply it. Open-ended. Everything has number of answers, so it doesn't close. Possible answers could be many. Encourage children to discuss. Have dialogue, which involves collaboration and communication. This learning is to our situation and experience. So make it relevant in real life of students. Okay, what will happen in their real life? And then, yes, promoting high order thinking skills, which was critical thinking, which involves evaluation, creation, analysis, problem solving, inferring, logic and reasoning, all of this. Okay, so this is how things have changed. And Once we start doing it and we do more of it, we get it very quick. Then the questions just come into our head. And I've told you a secret tip that you put on the internet, the name of your chapter, put in front of it, that give me this competency based questions. You'll get a list, nice list from class 1 onwards till class 12. You'll get according to the name of your chapter. So that will really help you to on your lesson planning. And now let's look at the chat. My chat reduces, Sharda, it becomes like I might have hundreds, but it just
Okay.
says, okay, now just see new messages. So I can see from here, Krupali wrote GPS, camera. This is for lenses. Lenses?
Yes, this was for lenses. Most of it is like the last chats. Most of it were like
Okay.
answers to your questions. There were rarely one or two questions. One question was like where
We
you were
can do that
talking
now.
about
We can do Q&A now.
one question which came up was when you were talking about that cassette example, like how to
Yeah.
pronounce it
That's a
and use
real
it for
example.
so somebody had said, like Kavita ma'am had said, like, but the school authorities insist on talking in English. So how do we
I
give
know
to
that,
the
but like, see, even with the school authorities, I was doing a session on English is for everyone. It's a very gradual build. Okay. So you need to understand this that a child who's not really progressing in English at home, the parents really depend on the school to build their language skills. From class 1, give them time till class 8 to learn English. We are non native speakers of English. English is not our language. So till class 8, you keep building them. And so that student of mine knew that it's cassette. But according to the background of the place we were in, she said cassette so that her audience will understand. So give them till class 8, they will definitely grow in their understanding of the language. And by 9, 10th, 11th, 12th, they're pretty okay. And also understand the multiple intelligences. Every child will not be linguistically strong. They don't want to be. Some children are mathematically strong, some are strong in science, some are strong in sports, some are strong in art. This is all in multiple intelligences. We've got 9 intelligences in our head, out of which only 3 are very well developed, only 3. Okay. So give them that understanding and make them strong and independent and confident. That's all important. That's all what is important. I have seen children do very well. And even the children who don't do well academically, they also do well in life. So don't go by what the school says. If the school says, why are you telling them cassette? You are teaching them cassette only. But you are acknowledging cassette. You are acknowledging that difference of background and language. Like when I say yellow, and whenever I go to South India, especially when I go to Kerala, they say yellow, which is fine, because all the children over there know that the teacher is saying yellow. So you'll find a mix of children like this coming into you, coming into your school and coming into class. Okay. Give me a minute. I think I'm losing the charge. Give me a minute. And meanwhile, think of whatever you want to ask. I have a lot of more questions. 120. Sharda.
no, no, they are all thank yous pouring in. Only one question which I see is from Pooja ma'am, who is asking, this is I think the second time she had written that, how to encourage students to write.
Right.
So like
Get them to compete. See, children are copycats. If their teachers and their parents don't write, why will they write? Get it? So they will copy. So get them to have writing competitions, get them to have a lot of, like we did this one over here, that, a passage with a lot of errors, and then write it correctly. And then best is always ask them, how do you want to play a writing game? And there is no, see, because this just got so much of technology with them. So you need to ask them how they want to, and you have to tell them that we have to write. But what do you want to do for writing? Okay, ma'am, we want to go out to play. So, okay, let's go out to play. We will play for 20 minutes and you will come back and write a short essay on what you played and how you played. Okay. And so whom you played with, how did you share? So they will come back and write that. Okay. So writing also, see, everybody doesn't have all the four skills of LSRW. Somebody is good with listening, somebody good with speaking, somebody's good with reading, somebody's good with writing. I haven't come across people who are good with all the four skills of LSRW. So you'll find in your class some children write fantastic, others listen fantastic, a few of them read fantastic. They're all different according to their skills and whatever they enjoy. So make the writing enjoyable. Okay. Anybody else? Any other question?
There is one question from Mr. Ajay Kumar Singh who asks, like, ma'am, sometimes school doesn't help us when we start to motivate our kids learn English. They say, like, in the rural area, it's not necessary. So please guide me. I think Ajay sir, ma'am has already answered that. Children
Sir,
will
I go
take
to a
time.
lot of rural areas where we come across a lot of state languages where I'm talking about learning. I'm talking about a teacher improving her language skills or his language skills, along with their children improving their language skills. We don't know their future. Over here, we're just learning year after year after year. Maybe it will help us in future. So don't go by the school. Just say yes, yes. Okay, okay. And do how you feel you can do perfectly as a good teacher. That's what is important. Teachers,
Right.
schools always recognize good teachers. They know who are the good teachers.
Gayatri ma'am has a question. Can you give us a standard pattern? What kind of levels can be kept in classroom level as much of activity in the class spoils student attention? I think she's asking about the ratio, like how much of activity or like.
So
Uh,
it has to be learner centric. I told you it is no more teacher centric. So, but then because we are so used to the teacher centric method, so let's go by 60-40. You keep yours when you're teaching 60 and you do at least 40 of activities, but your activities should be such that something of competency, something of, them drawing something, something of them creating something, something should be kinesthetic. They're doing outside. Like I'm a language person. So I love playing this game. I'm giving an example with my teachers to teach with their children that I tell the teachers that the children should not even know that you taught them. So they asked me once, ma'am, how will the children not know that you taught them? That we taught them. So I said, okay, here is a chapter cut out into 16 bits, 16 slips. And please go create a treasure hunt. So they created a treasure hunt, one of the seniors. And then I gave the teachers some time limit and I told them, go get me those. How many pieces? 16 pieces. So they got those 16 pieces of paper and they don't know it's something new for them. And then I give them a piece of chart and I said, okay, put the story in order, put the whole pieces in order. So they read it and they put the pieces in order and they made the entire story without realizing that they read the whole chapter. So these kind of activities are so many, so many. I will tell office to make an experiential session with me or an activity based session with me. There are so many that you can do in every subject, in every subject. And you find issues at home between your children, or you find issues at home about your items, and then you need to apply and teach children also to apply competency-based level of thinking. How am I going to solve this? That's why I put that real life question for you. Like, I'll give you another example of competency-based. I'm zero on it. I decided this with my daughter a very long time ago. So she was, again, that time 10, 11 years of age, and I was sitting with two big trunks, trying to stuff one big blanket into a trunk. Well, the winters were over. And she passed by and she said, there's a thin blanket underneath that. Is there? I said, yes. Remove that and put it in the other trunk. Your thick blanket will fit in. Now I am thinking in the same way. This thick blanket used to go inside this. Why is it not going? I could easily remove the thin one and put it in the other trunk. It had some space. So these are in these ways, the children are very smart today. So when you will start your competency-based teaching, they will come up with questions. Let's do this, let's do that. But still retain that chapter teaching. Blend it with your chapter. I've told you, use STEM a lot. STEM is very good for them to develop skills, application-based skills. Any other questions you can
We have a question from Mr. Vinod saying like how to improve those who are weak and their parents are not taking interest in their academics.
So for weak children, or we call them slow learners, we use differentiated methods. So one method is called scaffolding. You've seen that green cloth. You've seen the pillars which are all around the sticks, the thick sticks, poles which are there on a building which is being constructed. That's a scaffold. So when you are looking at a weak learner, you have a lot of scaffold by constructing that child. So you have a lot of those poles. So you help a lot. You help. Once you feel the child has followed, you remove two poles. You reduce your help. Then you reduce your help further. You keep reducing help till the time the child gets it that they do it. Now, biggest thing with children is they should never be shamed if they do not know something, or if they know something they're not able to do it well. That's very important. They must feel that we're good and our teachers and our parents love us. That confidence, if children get, they'll bloom.
Rimji ma'am asked, students don't want to write the answers on their own. They want to write what is in the book. So what is the solution?
Tell them to find the answers from the chapter themselves and write it. Don't give it to them. It's there in the chapter. They have to find it themselves.
Simple sometimes. Yes. Rajini Sharma asks, like finishing syllabus within time limit is a challenge. So like with all these competency-based activities and all.
Till the time you're teaching till class 8th, you can reduce the syllabus. If you've got 16 chapters, remove 4 chapters, turn one into project, turn one into role play, one into rapid fire, turn that into something for testing. And then only teach thoroughly 12 chapters. When we're eating a buffet, we don't eat every dish, no? We choose dishes. We leave out some dishes. We can just, like the smell, like that. You don't have to teach so much. NCRT has reduced the syllabus also by 30%.
Yeah. So I think that those were the questions. Suman ma'am, Devanshi ma'am, Mary ma'am, you have requested for a pre-primary session. We have done some of them for the sessions, but like I assure you, we'll be doing a lot more in the coming days. So keep in touch and we will inform you. And thank you so much, Shraddha ma'am, for a wonderful session.
Thank
The
you.
likes, the thumbs ups, the thank yous tell a lot about the session. And I hope and I'm sure that every one of the participants will take this learning to the classroom. And from tomorrow, the classes will look more interesting, more active, and teachers will feel more relaxed and more.
Just teach what comes into your mind. You should never go back with this feeling, I wanted to do this activity, I haven't done it. And ma'am, I'll send this PPT to office. some of them asking for a copy, so you can send across the copy, whatever, however they will ask you for it.
Saloni ma'am, do you want to add something about the certificates and all before we wind up?
We already have shared the link, ma'am, so they'll be able to download it from there. I'll just we've shared it again.
Okay, so thank you so much, Shraddha ma'am,
Thank
once
you.
again, and
Thank
thank you, participants. Thank you, teachers, all of you, for being here with us as always. Looking forward to see you soon on another session. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Shradha ma'am. Thank you,
Thanks.
Shradha ma'am. I'm ending
Yeah,
the session.
thank you. Thank you so much, Saloni.